Thank you very much. What I thought I'd do is just talk a little bit about where we see payments going over the next 10 years. You've heard a few useful comments from the other panellists and from Liz about their thoughts about regulation. And I promise I will cover regulation at some point. But what I thought I'd do is just tell us where we think things are going and where things have come from. We do see that we are in the digital revolution, the third big revolution that society has gone through after agricultural and then manufacturing. And I just thought I just had a bit of a thought bubble yesterday about how things have changed in just 15 years. And the reason I chose 15 years is you'll see from my CV that I've got 3 children. One is 20, one is 5. So that was Parenthood version 1.0. That was around dot-com boom time. That was what it was like. Photos printed. Where did you get advice from? Where did you buy stuff from? You're all very familiar. That's only 15 years ago. What's it now? Very different. The world has completely changed for parenthood. You get your information online. You swap photos on Facebook. You register your children online for schools. You get information about schools, about how they're doing online, league tables, lots of information. People deal with everything differently now. And that's 15 years. Our expectation is that the speed of change is increasing. Much of that change is over the last 5 years rather than the last 15 years, if you look at things like Netflix and online music in particular. So things are going to increase, and this is about social change completely, not just about financial services, but I will come on to that. But before I do, let me just explain a couple of things to Liz's point, and I'm glad Liz made those points about transport, contactless and transport and tickets and digital, etc., around ticketing. I'll show you how I travel on London Transport, and 1/4 of Londoners travel in this way already on London Transport. It's using contactless. That's how I travel. That's a key fob. It's a contactless chip. It could be in a card, it could be on a bracelet, it could be on a wand if you happen to do things that way. But that's how I travel. It's not a ticket. It's not really a contactless payment card. When I go through and tap that on my way onto transport, I'm not actually paying because the system doesn't know how many travel tickets and how many journeys I'm going to take in that day. And there's a travel card maximum price for a day. So I will actually pay at the end of the day. It's a license to travel. Very different way of thinking. But what we've done in the UK with this is we've implemented it in London, so for tube trains and for buses. The challenge is how do we take that, which is very bespoke delivery for London, into other cities and other transport networks. And hopefully other parts of Europe can learn from that experience and say, how did you do that in London? Manchester in the UK is already saying, how did you do that in London? So the dream is, at some point, all travel journeys will be as easy as they are in London. But that's 1/4 of journeys in London in a very different way than people were paying and travelling even 3 or 4 years ago. So it just shows the speed at which behaviours can change if you find something that consumers want and that makes things easier for consumers. And I'll come back to that point. This is about making payment, buying, doing things frictionless and seamless. It's not about solving some other esoteric academic problem. It's actually solving a real problem of how do I buy a ticket, why do I want to queue up and pay for that ticket in a very complex and annoying way. So this is the next stage of how you pay by contactless. the commercial bit. But Liz wants to pay by tapping her mobile. This is paying by tapping your mobile. Launched last week. And it's within a secure Barclaycard app. So you can go into your mobile, your Samsung device. It's available on the Android system. And you can pay using contactless technology by tapping your mobile. And you can go on the tube with it. You can buy a coffee with it. You can pay at the moment up to £30 using contactless, and currently up to £100 by putting a PIN into the app. So we see this as one way that payments will be undertaken in the future. But a lot of people say, you know, and we heard digital currencies being mentioned there. There's a lot of buzzwords here, and I'll just go through some of them. We know that that's the current cards-based payment journey. We've talked about mobile payments. We've talked about electronic wallets. Barclays has Ping It. There's PayM, which is a system for the whole of the UK. We've talked about omni-channel, the convergence of physical and online. We've talked about fingerprint scanners, finger banking. We've talked about different networks. Should there be another network? What about Visa, MasterCard? Should there be something else? Faster payments, instant payments. We've even talked about alternative currencies. Is Bitcoin the solution? Is Bitcoin the future? I think the risk, though, is that we look at today's trends and try to extrapolate and say that's the future. All those things are the future. Interestingly, I've been speaking to a number of people about alternative currencies recently, and Bitcoin in particular. And one of the things that we're doing is talking to people about the difference between the application on the blockchain technology, the underlying blockchain technology, and which at the moment people see as Bitcoin. That's just one idea for cryptocurrency, and the blockchain technology itself, and trying to separate the two aspects. And we certainly think there may be applications for blockchain technology going forward, and we're speaking to a number of people about that. But at the moment, this is a test environment. We don't know what that will eventually look like and what the solutions will be, but we certainly believe that there are some available.